Hello.
Hey, how are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good too.
Good. And your name is it Sudhir?
Yeah, and I think you are Mr. McDonald.
Yeah, Andrew, not Mister. But,
Okay, Andrew.
nice to meet you. So, yeah, how can I help you, Sudhir?
So actually, I'm also an English teacher in India. I have been
Okay.
teaching English since 2017, and I prepare students for about you know for these exams, IELTS, PT, and all. The thing is that
Yeah.
the I just wanted to have a level test with you, and there's a larger purpose behind that. uh, that's mo-
Okay.
that's mostly because other YouTubers in India are making videos like tips, tricks, and they kind of make videos that are not useful. uh, Use these connectors and things are going to be great, and students are delusional. They think that, yeah, by following these tips and tricks we can actually become better or something. So I think a good teacher is someone who sets an example by doing things himself, and I've passed more than 50 exams already: IELTS, PT, CPE, IS 4 by Trinity, and all. So, like, the things I make for them, the things I make to encourage my students are just tests I perform in front of them so that they are able to learn through my performances. So the only request was to have to for my only request is that you conduct a speaking level test, and then you can assign me a CEFR level at the end, perhaps.
Okay, no problem. That sounds great. We can do that straight away. Your teaching style sounds very similar to mine. Because you're right, there is a lot of nonsense on YouTube, to be fair.
Yeah, in India, it's actually way more pathetic than it is in your country, because here emotions are sold, manipulation is there, and students also are a little delusional that they think that, oh, okay, yeah, because the teacher is nice, he is good. But being nice
Yeah.
is different from being, educated and being right. So there's a lack of logical reasoning here. Critical reasoning is has gone to the dogs properly. So just to make them aware, just I'm doing my bit, and that is the only purpose behind this session also.
Yeah, fantastic. No problem. Okay. What we can do, I've got, if I go into my Google Drive, I've got some IELTS exams here, speaking tests, because I only ever use past tests,
Perfectly
real
fine.
real ones. So I've got one here from April of this year, if you'd like to look at this. Um, let's take a quick look at some part one questions. Yeah, I'll put them in the chat box as well. These are typical questions. You've probably seen this question 1,000 times.
It's
But
okay, maybe.
it's let's talk about what you do. Do you work or are you a student?
I'm a working person, but I am a student also. I keep learning new things. I'm learning French right now, and I've been an English teacher since 2017. As I said, I've taught people of various ages, and my career started with being a GMAT teacher,
Fantastic.
verbal reasoning.
That's a great answer. And how are you finding French?
French,
Is it
the reason for learning that, first of all, is I want to know how a person feels when he doesn't know even an iota of a language. Like, I get some students who are not even at A1, so I wanted to try something of which I had nothing, and that is giving me the metacognition parts. Like, oh, this is a problem that I'm facing with the basic nouns, or maybe so I may be a better English teacher afterward. Moreover, I think I'm a very energetic person, and my energy could be used more wisely in this direction. I have this thing that I cannot do useless things. Like, after 1 month, I make a video, new line chart strategies. Then after 1 month, best line chart strategies. I can't do that. I have my conscience alive. So in
yeah,
place of that, I take these tests, but these are also finished now because I've already taken almost all of them, English proficiency tests. So now I'm
yeah.
connecting with people like you to utilize my energy to motivate my students, and
That's
French is also a part
fantastic.
of that.
It is. I mean, I've always said to be a language teacher, you also need to be a language student because then you understand
Yeah,
the pitfalls, the difficulties, the common problems,
my day
and
starts with learning vocabulary. I learn vocabulary a lot, so yeah.
that's good. French is I did my degree from university was French. It's a language that's quite close to my heart. I really like it.
Très bien.
uh, Yeah, c'est très bien. Okay, next question is relatively negative question, but
It's okay.
it's are there things you don't like about it, i.e., your job, and what are they?
Sometimes the frustrating part is that I'm not able to help my students properly because they fail also. I'll not paint a rosy picture that I'm the best teacher, or I'm a Svengali, that I can change the mind of the person, because it's very difficult. Most IELTS students have already crossed the age of 18 or 16, so their neuroplasticity doesn't really allow me to change them, and they fail the test. My success rate could be about 80%, but when I'm not able to help 20% of them, it hurts a little. Apart from that, I think the tiredness factor, people think teaching is easy. I would say teaching is queasy. It makes you queasy.
It can, yeah, that's really good. I mean, I can fully, what, 5 minutes of talking now, I can understand why you've got such high level qualifications in English.
Sorry.
'Cause, yeah, you're using a lot of really cool idiomatic expressions, really good vocabulary.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, very impressive so far.
I've scored 8.5 in IELTS speaking 3 times.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. And to be honest, I'm living in the UK at the moment after being abroad for a long time. And I would say from talking with you for 5 minutes, you're speaking a lot better than a lot of people I know in this country.
That's
So I
like,
think
okay,
you've got
I don't know, I'm inflated now, sorry. Yeah.
no, you've got no issues with your English, I don't think. um, okay, let's do another question. It's going to be this. I'll put it in the chat again. It's do you often read books and when?
Okay, I'm a big time bibliophile, and that is why my critical thinking is not as stupid as the critical thinking of thinking of most people around me. I'm a big fan of philosophers, and I love this writer called Mark Manson. And currently, I'm reading Front of the Class by David Cohen, and it's also, giving me some chills, and I look forward to finishing it soon.
Very good. Mark Manson, I'm sure I've read some of his work.
Yeah, as in he's
Didn't
quite
he write
bold.
the subtle art of not giving something?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say the word, but you know what I mean.
Of course, I think there are two books in that series, no? So I've read both, and
Yeah,
I think it was like it gave me a life switcheroo. Like I was like, okay, see, I think it is not about getting changed when you read a book. You have already changed when you read a book and you understand it. So I think books only validate our ideologies. They can't change us, but if you are a logical person outside your library, or maybe
yeah,
your book room, only then can you be able to understand those books, and they give you confidence, like, oh, someone so far away from you is thinking like you, so you have the right to live.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I love reading, and during the lockdown, I read a lot of Paulo Coelho, the
Yeah,
Brazilian author, because his
I
is it?
read his a couple of weeks back, or maybe a few months back. I read Veronica Decides to Die, and it was again
Mm,
something surreal.
they are, and a lot of his books are about either physical or sort of spiritual journeys. And I think
Yeah,
during the lockdown when you couldn't go anywhere, it was sort of a vicarious method of traveling really to explore new concepts and ideas when you were stuck in your house.
Polo, I think, is more focused on how there is one world inside our head also. So he
Yeah,
takes us through those journeys. How, in the Alchemist, the person is able to find himself and not the treasure really. And in Veronica Decides to Die, how the girl is able to understand that sanity is just a set of rules, and you can be a lunatic, but better than the sane people. So it was again something, I would say, I was left berserk after reading that book, and hats off to him.
yeah, it's really good author.
Awesome.
um, okay, the next question from this is: are your reading habits different now than before?
I'm a fast reader now, perhaps, because when you start this thing, most people are not able to continue reading books because it's a very tiring activity, and they have to be very patient. They have to, leave out some other activities and distractions to hamper the progress. And that used to be the case with me also. Perhaps the first book that I read was, something that took me about month or maybe 2 months, but now I'm able to finish a book in a week or something. I have classes also side by side, but if I am, on top form, then I perhaps can finish a book in one day also. I read Frankenstein in one go.
Wow. That's really good. Yeah, I mean, I try to allocate an hour, hour and a half to reading every day, just because it's something that I really enjoy doing, and you can get different perspectives, different opinions. And you mentioned critical thinking before. Without wider reading, you are incapable of critical thinking.
For sure, I
Yeah,
second that.
yeah, and it's a really important skill these days that employers
People,
are looking for.
reading is as important as exercising, I would say.
I completely agree. Although I don't do much exercise. Just walking, basically.
Me too.
Okay, it's enough though. Um, the next one. Have you ever read a novel that has been adapted into a film?
Yeah, I have not watched the movie. It was a chick flick. It was like "Can You Keep a Secret" by Sophie Kinsella. I like fluffy stuff also. I like foofy things also sometimes. And I read this novel. It was being read by one of my colleagues. Her name is Sonam, and I just caught sight of that book, and I was intrigued. I have this feminine side inside me. Okay, why not give it a go? I read the book. It was fine. It was this teenage crap and all, but I did not watch the movie. I have seen the trailer, but I was not intrigued. So
Very good. Okay. No, I've never read anything like that or watched a movie like that, to be honest. Um, okay, I've only got a couple more of these part ones. And the next one's a slight change of topic, and it's this. What kind of things are boring to you?
small talk, maybe talking about your relatives or talking about how that person could have behaved with us, or what kind of gift we are going to give to that person, or how God is going to be with us, and all such things. Because I am not into things that are based on either superstitions or maybe codependence. I think we are the masters of our destinies, and we should not be judging others. We should not be judging others on how they judge others, on how they judge us also. So maybe small talk and spiritual talks.
Yeah, that's a really cool answer. I don't like judgmental people either. Um, at the moment, I've got a 14-year-old daughter, so she's at that age where everything affects her emotionally. And I had to
Yeah,
have a conversation with her. I said, listen, it doesn't matter what you do in this society, doesn't matter what you do, good or bad, people are going to judge you anyway. So just forget about them, get on with
you're
your life.
you're a great dad. Because if I talked to my father like this, he would be like, okay, change yourself and all. So yeah, but I think evolution happens generation by generation, generation after generation. He might be superior to my grandfather. I'm gonna be superior to him. So yeah, kudos to you.
Yeah, every generation's completely different.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good example. I mean, my father, he's 70 now, but he worked for the same company his entire life. And that was the thing in that generation. They had a job for life. I don't think our generation now does.
And I don't think that's healthy also. If you don't change, you are not able to really live the life. As in, you have to,
Exactly.
as in, explore things. And if you are so comfortable, perhaps you are so stupid also.
Yeah, I mean, he got promoted up to sort of director level in a big company, but it was the same company for 40
but but
years. But
but I think geography is as important as the hierarchy.
yeah, I think so. I think it's good. I mean, I like to go and live in other countries, experience different cultures. That's why I enjoy teaching on the internet,
um,
because I can meet people from other countries, explore other cultures without going there. But obviously, I'd
yeah,
rather get on a plane and go and visit somewhere. It's far more immersive.
that's very cool.
It is. I love, yeah, traveling, living, exploring culture. It's great. Um, Last question from here is this: what would you do, or what do you do when you feel bored?
I am a big fan of the movies also, so I might buy a ticket, and otherwise books, and some talks with my mother. Even though I'm not able to make peace with the kinds of talks we make, but It's okay. Like, there is rationality and there are emotions also. So that is the time for my emotions. I would stoop to my, I would say, visceral self, and I would be talking to her about things she likes.
Fantastic. That's great. Okay, let's go for a part two question. This one again, this is from last month.
Yeah,
Again, I've seen this type of question thousands of times. I'm sure you've seen this before. It's oh, I've forgotten the question mark there. It's describe an environmental problem or event, and then you should say what it is, where it is happening, and what problems does it cause.
okay.
Okay. So normally I give some preparation time for these with IELTS preparation. Do you want preparation time?
Just
Which
20 seconds maybe. Let me see the question
okay.
properly. Okay, I can start now.
Okay.
Banal would be the keyword here because I'm going to talk about air pollution only. It's an environmental problem and it has been there since time immemorial. And in India, it's touching the pinnacle now because there are so many cars. There are a plethora of cars. Even though I hate this word, but still, now it can be used actually in the proper sense. People do not care about the environment. People just care about the environment they have inside their houses. They just want the happiness there. They would kill the environment for that. If you say, if I am one of them, or I'm just I'm just giving a rant or something, I do my bit about it. I do not use the air conditioner that is there in my house. I do not as in travel by car a lot. I walk whenever I can walk. I even avoid using a deodorant also because of the CFCs and all. However, it's just that I'm a human, and my carbon footprint is not going to be zero. Of course, I am contributing to this evil. uh, Nonetheless, but to what extent can I help? When I'm hungry, when I have to earn, when I have to do things, when I have to entertain myself, I have to step out of my house, and then I have to use these facilities. However, it can be lessened, it can be made smaller and smaller, but of course I cannot eliminate it also. Another major factor that leads to this is, of course, the factories. India, we go gaga over globalization, but we do not see the effects. And you know even though we can live properly without advancements that are just the advanced versions of the advancements that are already there, and they have made our lives easier. In order to be living in a more comfortable way, or in an increasingly comfortable way, we keep making progress. But I don't know why we are not able to get a handle on the fact that you are not going to live if you do not have the earth. What will you do with the advancements? Where will you keep your iPad? Where will you keep your iPad 2.0? Where will you keep your iPad 50.0? If you do not have your house, if you do not have your earth, are you going to take it to, if it exists, uh, are you going to take it to heaven or something? I'm going to go to hell because I speak against God a lot. But I'm not going to take my things myself. I'm not going to take my things with myself. I'm sure about that, if there is that journey after, after I've given up the ghost and all. uh, and as in, there are certain effects in regard to our health also. I have seen people who are not able to breathe properly, and masks were very common in my country before corona also, before COVID-19 also, and that was just because of the polluted air. And I think the government can do a lot about it, but the government of my country is a group of people who are from my country only. So they are just doing the same things. They are just trying to have their own financial mountains. They are trying to ignore the problems. They are trying to, you know India is all about demagogues. It is about making people emotional about yourself. It is all about making people you know think spiritually, think religiously, and then you can build the tallest statue in the world. And that tallest statue is going to be affected by this air pollution only, when acid rain does its work and all. And it is something that is given a lot of importance in the schools. We have a lot of chapters on air pollution or other kinds of pollution, but that is also about the exams. We have an exam called EVS, and if you are able to write your answer in a detailed way, as I'm doing right now, perhaps, then you're going to get the score, but you're not going to really contribute to the real environmental science that is going on outside. Furthermore, I would say, if I'm given a chance, if I'm made the prime minister of India for one day, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ban the ACs. We don't need them. We can always be cool enough without them. We can have fans. We can have other kinds of cooling aids. We can eat ice creams. It's fine. You can do that and you can be better. But you don't need to live like polar bears. Go to the Antarctica if you need that, or maybe any other geographically, you know, icy uh, region. And nonetheless, I think I like dinosaurs were killed by that asteroid. We are going to be killed by our own, I would say, balls of insincerity. We are going to be killed by this heat phenomenon only. And one day, I think the species that is going to come after us is going to talk about how there used to be a species that was burned because it wanted to be cool.
Wow, that's a really, really well argued answer. Fantastic. And I completely agree. I lived in Spain for 10 years and I never put the air conditioning on.
Me
It
neither.
could be, no, it could be 40, 45 degrees, 30 degrees at night. Get a fan. Uses a lot less
I
electricity.
sleep outside, as in there's a big open space,
Mm,
in the veranda, and I can just go there. There's this terrace kind of thing I have, and
yeah,
I would sleep there with my father and my dog also, and we are chilled, as in it's okay. Like, we have to do something if we want to have something, and we you cannot have your AC and eat it too. Like, pun intended. You cannot have your
yeah.
cake and eat it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we've got one planet, so we kind of need to. It's like you said before about generational differences. The idea.
I hope I spoke for 2 minutes because you did not stop me. So I was nervous. I spoke for 2 minutes.
No, no, no. Yeah, he's 2 minutes and 40 seconds in the
Oh,
end, to be
thank God.
fair. But I wanted
Okay,
to let you. I wanted to let you go because you were speaking really well.
okay, then
So it
it's
was
fine.
fantastic answer, really was. Um, so the part three questions are obviously going to be related to the environment. And the first one is, what are the main environmental problems in your country?
First of all, pollution. So I would not be expanding on that now because I've spoken a lot about that.
Yeah,
After that, I think plastic. Plastic is doing its bit. We have plastic that is covering the beaches more than the sand does, and I would say there are some cleaning, endeavors regarding that, and I'm proud of my country for that. Moreover, pollution is in the minds of the people a lot. They are not able to see the success of other people. Environmentally, of course, these two things only. But yeah, we are polluted people. Uh, in regard to our psyches also.
very good. Yeah, plastic's becoming an increasing
Yeah,
problem, especially microplastics. They seem to be ubiquitous. They're everywhere.
that is
In
not
the
a big phenomenon here, as in because we do not have, as in depend. We do not have that level of dependence on plastic. We use it for bottles and all only. But yeah, if there were more things that were based on plastic, then of course it's going to be
Yeah,
micro here also.
it is. I mean, here it's ridiculous. You go to the shop to buy bananas, and they come in plastic. And I think, well,
Hmm.
they've already got protection. It's the skin. They don't need to be in plastic. It's ridiculous. Okay. The next question: why should people be concerned about the environment?
Why should they not be? First of all, the environment is the thing that has made them live. The environment is the thing that has given them everything from their children to their parents. And if they don't care about the environment, they are not going to be living at all. So if they want to live, they should care about the environment. Apart from that, we have this reasoning skill that we feel obligated to certain paths in life. And if we care about our parents, if we care about our personal belongings, if we care about our success, why not care about something that has you know given us ourselves? So why to be big time douchebags. Why to be so thankless? We should be concerned about our environment.
Absolutely. Okay. Um, the next question, kind of tenuously related to the environment, I think, is do you think money should be spent on protecting animals?
Well, that's something tricky. It should be if they are a part of our food chains and all. Otherwise also, if you have enough, see, money is something that is first used for protecting ourselves, because it was our invention. We made a system that was dependent on certain nodes, and I think the basis for that is how much you can work. If you can work this much, you have the liberty to buy that much, and that perhaps has the basis in that you know human nature element. You cannot have everything. Let me get back to perhaps our evolutionary stages from the beginning. Perhaps when we were born, we were eating anything we liked, and there used to be a lot of scuffles. Then perhaps a wise man came and thought about a system as to you can eat in proportion to how much you work. So then maybe tokens had to be distributed, and I think the first thing was the barter system. Then perhaps this currency system was made in order to be competitive, like your dollar, my rupee. And then, like, it was about again, your efficiency is the main parameter here. You work more, you get more, and you can eat more. That is based on the principle of fairness. Now that is the case here also. Like, right now we are just earning to eat, to sleep, and to remain protected. And if we are going to spend that thing on our animals, that is fine, there is nothing wrong in that. And if you have a surplus, why not? However, take care of the fact that you have to be very kind to other humans first. It's not that you see a beggar, and that tatterdemalion is actually without any food, and you're trying to protect a species of maybe monkeys, who perhaps are going to attack you after getting right. So you can protect them, but protect yourself, your species first.
Wow, good answer. Really, really great vocabulary in there. I got one more question here, and it's do you think more should be done to protect natural beauty spots in your country?
Mm. Again, first fill the stomachs. Beauty is a secondary thing. When you are hungry, when you are sad, when you are perhaps dismal in any way, you are not going to enjoy the beauty that is there in front of you. A thing of beauty is a joy, not forever, but only when you are satisfied in regard to your basic instincts. Again, if you have had your stomachs filled, if you have had your related people's stomachs filled, and when you have had everyone happy in your perhaps region or territory, then you can work on the beauty aspect. You can always bespangle things that are around you, but again, if people are sad, then you cannot really make use of those decorative things. Consider an example: we go to a museum that has the most beautiful painting in the world, but on the way we got hurt by perhaps a car or something. Now we have wounds, we are bleeding, but because we want to respect the beauty, we go to the museum first before going to the hospital, obviously. Now, am I gonna enjoy that painting with my leg in pain? No. So perhaps you should be taking care of the basic instincts, as I said, and you should be taking care of the human part in its raw form. Then you can talk about this decorative evolution.
Fantastic. That's almost a parallel or an explanation of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, isn't it? You've got to.
I would say I'm a poor man's Darwin.
That's fan. No, that really, really good. I mean, okay, I'll give you some feedback now. I mean, obviously, fantastic, really well done.
Thank
I
you.
can see exactly why you've achieved 8.5 in IELTS. Speaking the three times, um, your English is really, really good. You know, as an English teacher, if you're giving your students an example, leading by example like that, then I would think they're going to do really well, surely.
Yeah, I think
because you've got
I do not believe in fake optimism. Like, oh, God's gonna be with you. Oh, you can
no
do it. Like my way of teaching them is by, I do not remember the name of that method. It starts with an H. Like giving them practical examples. Like, okay, if I, being from a family that is not very educated, can do this, why not you? So it's all
exactly.
about setting examples rather than setting, I would say, Pollyannish, uh, these statements. Like, I do not
Yeah,
believe in such things.
I mean, part of the role I think is about coaching and encouraging people, but you also have to be realistic. You know, if somebody's going to get a, like, let's say a band 6 and they want a band 7.5, you've got to tell them you're on for a band 6 at the moment. You need to do some more work, you know. It's about
I am
honesty, openness, transparency.
for sure.
But I think the English you're using, some of the vocabulary you're using is it really it, it's beyond words. It's really, really
Thank you very
impressive.
much. Thank you very
And
much.
obviously idiomatic expressions. Even in IELTS, when they look at pronunciation, your pronunciation is really clear. You're really easy to understand. Yeah, for me, that's been a really, really good half an hour. Um, and I can really
Likewise,
see why. Yeah, I can see why you've got 8.5 in IELTS and CPE and all these other tech because your English is incredible.
that's like,
It really is. Yeah.
I am in heaven now, if I may say so.
No, I'm being realistic. I'm not trying to like, massage your ego or anything like that. I'm just trying to be realistic. Um,
That's really
yeah,
good.
really, really good. Very well done. And above all, it's been a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise. And could I ask your nationality? Are you British, perhaps?
Yeah, I am. I'm actually from Scotland originally,
Hmm.
but I've spent most of my life living outside of Scotland, so I don't have the accent.
No, no, no. It's okay. Like, I just wanted to be, sure that I'm getting such benevolent comments from a native speaker. That's all. Nothing
Yeah, I'm
like.
a native speaker. I'm a fully qualified teacher. I've got 2 master's degrees in language teaching, so
Oh, great.
it should be okay.
No, it is like, okay, 10.0. And yeah, have you taught Indian students ever? This is my last question. I know I'm gonna uh, end it now after that.
That's okay.
Indian students, have you taught them?
Yeah, I have. I've taught many people from India over the years because I've been working online off and on for about 5 years now, and
Okay.
full time since last summer, and I have taught quite a few people from India.
Just one thing, this is something that I've observed with many Indian students. They don't know what they're talking about. There's a lack of coherence, I think, to the backbone. They are all about knowing grammar and vocabulary, and
Yeah,
throwing them at the teacher, like, in a very random fashion, like this. They have no sense of coherence. They don't work on that also. They think that it's all about, maybe this grammatical and lexical cornucopia. I know vocabulary is important, studying is important in any way, but as I said, first of all the basics, then the decorated versions. So
yeah.
they are not able to. Even when I check writing, like I feel guilty about being a teacher at that time, as in I've not been able to make them think properly. They don't think before speaking, they don't think before writing also. Like, has that been the case with you also sometimes? Like,
It's the
it,
same, I would say, in a lot of countries. Because people get to, especially when they get to, ooh, let's say an upper intermediate level of English, and the confidence is there, and they're focusing more on, hey, I'm speaking in English, and actually I'm going to think about this and then speak about it. It's just it's like probably when you get your driving license for the car. You think you can drive, you drive at 100 miles an hour, you're going to have a crash.
of course, like,
And it's quite
why to
often the
get so
same phenomenon.
excited? Why to get so excited that you're not able to fulfill the task goals, task itself? And when the
Exactly.
score is low, you know then the teacher is
Yeah.
bad, or the circumstances are bad, or then they have their own, I would say, pacifying elements. Okay, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
they do.
God's wish and all. So thank you,
Yeah.
Andrew. Like,
Nope.
you.
Thank you, Sudhir. Unfortunately, I've got to go. I have another class
Yeah, yeah,
starting
thank
in
you
a
very much.
moment,
Thank you.
but
Thank you.
no problem. And a pleasure to meet you. And I hope you have a lovely weekend.
Likewise.